Is most content bad? Think of all the videos you didn't click on before getting here, and how statistically, about 50% of people won't finish this video. Probably more on this video, you'll see. But that does not mean it's all slop. Whether it's videos, music, artwork, books, and per the theme of this channel, role-playing game books related to Dungeons and Dragons. Oh, there goes a bunch of people who don't care about gamer slop. Our tastes are incredibly personal. I'm pretty sure I love fantasy gaming because I grew up loving Lord of the Rings, because the movies were new in my childhood, and because I was primed for those movies by reading world folklore, camping, and practicing archery as a wee lad. Oh, there goes a bunch more people who rightly don't care about my childhood experiences. Nostalgia slop. That's the double-edged sword of personal taste in our modern world, where any nerd with a phone and some free time can make videos, music, artwork, and even role-playing game books. And this hobby, role-playing games, requires you to be nerdy and have hours of free time per week. So in our modern world of print-on-demand books, even if most of it won't appeal to our personal tastes, there's still so many people making RPG content that is awesome. Yeah, you thought this whole video was gonna be a rant about bad books? Wrong. Oh, but there goes a bunch more people who wanted the sweet, sweet negativity slop. So I'm gonna tell you about a lot of cool physical RPG products and some cool digital ones, starting with a few you've probably heard of, but mostly ones you have not heard of, including, just for laughs, a couple true slops, just genuine AI overflowing messes that ended up in my inbox. Little disclaimer, none of these creators paid me for this video, but the very last one is sponsoring next week's video for the whole video, so you just get a little teaser here. And considering last week's vid was all about the high prices within this hobby, remember, there's no pressure to buy all this stuff. This is a quick overview of each item, so then you can check out the ones you like when you want. Deathbringer, the all-killer, no-filler, complete tabletop game by Professor DM of the Dungeon Craft YouTube channel. And yeah, this first group is mostly future physical books. But what started as D&D homebrew turned into this pamphlet, and after selling well over 5,000 copies, was finally rewritten by Brandish Gilhelm of Index Card RPG and James Spahn of The One Ring into this grimdark, lethality-loving hack-and-slash hack of the award-winning Shadowdark RPG. I've played it, I backed the Deathbringer minis, I'm writing an adventure for this book, and it launches today, so check out the link below where there's also links to everything else, like Pirate Borg, miniatures and map collection, and skirmish game. If you haven't heard, Pirate Borg is the most popular variant of the splatterpunk, dark fantasy, Morkborg RPG that I don't know how to pronounce. At least the most popular variant at conventions, like where I played it, and that Pirate Borg session was one of the best sessions of any tabletop game I've ever played. But hold on. Say you're not a millennial and therefore weren't indoctrinated with Pirates of the Caribbean movies as a teenager, this map collection and minis still seem perfect for the seafaring arc of your traditional fantasy campaign, which could be Crown of the Fungal Queen, a 1st to 5th level D&D 5e adventure by the big brains at the Mystic Arts YouTube channel. Whoa, you caught me. This is not a physical book or Kickstarter, but it's gonna be, right, Dottie? Even if not, being a 160-page digital-first book harkens back to the peak era of third-party 5e adventures on ye olde Dungeon Masters Guild, while also being fresh with its flintlock fantasy setting across a mix of mystery, political intrigue, and old-school dungeon delving. Which reminds me, super short plug for my own dungeon-loving book, Delve, with 12 plug-and-play mini dungeons, a host of shadowy character options, tons of new monsters, magic items, traps, and more. But the big news, this 5e version is coming to some major bookstores, and you can pre-order now through the link below to help us out. Man, it's been a few weeks since we've had a plane. We've been a few weeks. Good to be back. 2 more Kickstarters. Attack the Light is a Shadow Dark zine by Michael Putlak of Night Noon Games, featuring literally hand-carved artwork. So cool. This first issue was inspired by a Hungarian folktale, a son of the White Mare, so prepare to face a dragon and other devious challenges in the Copper Castle. And Rise of the Lazy Game Master by Sly Flourish needs no introduction. This new book expands on the world-famous 8 steps of GM prep, bound to be the definitive Dungeon Master's Guide for new and veteran GMs of any fantasy RPG. Okay, and one more. This other zine campaign ends today, so I want to squeeze it in. The Tragedy of Ravenmere Manor is a gothic horror adventure for Shadowdark by perhaps the premier Shadowdark-focused YouTube creator, Runeforged. Check it out. Now, for something completely different. Here's an obnoxiously bad AI slop RPG product from my email inbox. And it could be real, I can't truly tell from this photo. Allegedly an ice mold shaped like a D20, but the 20 is upside down, the other numbers are not in their typical spots, and they included just the most ridiculous AI art D&D poster for some reason? Is this supposed to be relatable? Don't you like to play doing Garons and Dragoys? Actually, what the heck, dude? So I'm obviously not linking this one. Even Google's AI overview cited Reddit reporting this company is having some like shady practices, so AI telling on itself, who would have guessed? That said, I get tons of emails from well-meaning, human RPG creators who don't have a sponsorship budget and are just hoping to get the word out about their cool stuff. So many emails that I cannot thoughtfully respond to them all, but I always try, and let alone give away that much promotional airtime when, transparently, paid promotions are one of the pillars holding up my career. But this April, I started a spreadsheet, as I am prone to do, because I wanted to track all these emails. And it turns out, excluding all sponsorship requests, all non-RPG related requests, and every other kind of email, I got roughly 1 cold call every day to learn a new game, or read an adventure, or test out a VTT. Without further ado, these are their stories. Hey Bob, I am sure that you get messages like this all the time. But I wrote a very easy and very free TTRPG that allows players to play as spies and covert agents. It uses a unique dice mechanic that I'm sure you haven't seen before. I've also made a YouTube video elaborating on the mechanic a bit. Love your stuff and overall vibe. Hope you enjoy the game if you get the chance to check it out. Okay, I'm not going to read every email because this is one of the shortest, and just to be clear, I don't remember if I downloaded this game, but since it's free for anyone to check out, I'm linking it below. Next, The Color Out of Space, zine for Shadowdark RPG, looks really cool to me, because I love the stories of H.P. Lovecraft, which it is clearly based on, and you know I love Shadowdark. From what I recall, it's also part of a series, so more to come. Now here's a video about a passion project VTT, quote, dead simple, voice and video built-in isometric 3D tokens, any system. Sounds cool, but I do not use VTT, so just a heads up for any VTT builders out there watching, I'm not the right kind of creator for this request. To keep this video under an hour, we're gonna skip all the VTT emails henceforth. Now, a special spotlight for Boruborg, Denizens of the Dire Steppe, a 60-plus page bestiary that merges the grim atmosphere of Morkborg with the twisted legends of Eurasian and Anatolian mythology. I was impressed by the graphic design and artwork here, but blown away when I immediately was hit with a world folklore fun fact. I had no idea that the Azer from D&D is yet another creature inspired by real-world mythology. Cool monster book, and I instantly learned something. Well done, Boruborg. All right, who's ready for a fresh dose of slop? And I'd like to note that I've already skipped a few requests from this list that outright stated they are AI projects, but this third one was too hilarious to just completely not tell you about, so. Hi, I enjoyed your AI RPG video. Would you be interested in reviewing my AI TTRPG? What? No, you clearly didn't watch my video about the influence of that technology on the creative industry that is role-playing games. And that leaves Like 60 emails to go. Force of Extinction, a post-apocalyptic action TTRPG, has since funded on BackerKit and promises that you can start playing in 30 minutes. Caster's Crossing is an Aztec-inspired Dungeon Crawl Classics compatible campaign, which was gonna launch in May according to the email, but looks like it's still pending today. And skipping a couple without links or with obvious AI, here's a really unique item I was going to spotlight until now upon closer inspection. These cards that trigger real movement on the game board, Jumanji style, they really look like AI art. And geez, it uses the same exact website template I see on every AI DM website. Do they all know they're using the same thing? Is it one guy making it all? The Withering War is the first and only Draw Steel campaign to show up in my email inbox, but like VTTs, I'm really underqualified to speak on Draw Steel besides saying it looks cool. But I will give a special shout out to the makers of Beefy Shotgun Wizards, who mailed me this copy of the zine edition in the lead up to their full rulebook Kickstarter. You are a muscle-bound wizard who just ran out of spell slots in the dungeon and so must shoot your way out. It was a super fun read. I can't wait to try it out with my group, and I'm keeping an eye on the core book as well. Skipping more AI, more VTTs, more without links, and some that are just too vague for me to investigate amongst this whole pile of requests, we come to the Zerth Handbook for Humans, which I judged by the cover and found to be not quite fantasy enough for my taste, but surely some of you out there will love this. And oh yeah, this next one is just a video game. I think my titles, including RPG, are starting to fool some email bots, so this really shouldn't have stayed on the list, and we're gonna skip any other video games on the list henceforth. A little deja vu, another special shout out to the makers of Father Fog, who mailed me a copy of this zine edition in the lead up to their full rulebook. You are a villager in a mist-covered world where all player knowledge of folklore is also your character's knowledge, but that doesn't mean it's correct. So just like Beefy Shotgun Wizards, super fun premise, super fun read, can't wait to try it out with my group, and I'm keeping an eye on the core book. Now this one kind of pissed me off. It's a mapping program that uses Gemini to artificially expand maps. But if you wanted this, if you wanted to do this, you could just use Gemini yourself, right? Without paying for this middleman AI tool. But in glorious contrast, here's a guy starting out on DriveThruRPG with hand-drawn maps. Hell yeah, brother. 10-minute maps? Check it out. And here's a company that makes cool dice based on their own D&D characters. Neat. We have The Summoner's Grimoire by Foul Fox, compatible with D&D 5e and Tales of the Valiant, but there's apparently no preview on DriveThruRPG, so I stopped there. Always include a preview. Then Grimoire is a dice and card-based RPG that uses the same web template, tripping my spidey senses. Aha! No link, but I saved this email because it was a full circle reference to my favorite TTRPG poll that went out a couple weeks ago about Car Lesbians RPG. And so I don't know if this guy's the creator or if this is straight piracy, but he sent me the PDF. It's real. So how about another special shout out to the makers of The Magical Code of Regulations, who graciously mailed me a physical copy that I have not yet read myself, but I did watch Questing Beast's recent video flipping through the copy that they sent him, so I'll link that below. Okay, and now we are almost through all the relevant, viable, and human-made requests. Roll from the Hip is a D&D actual play show, getting really solid views, so I'm surprised I've never heard of this, and I'm so happy to spread the word for folks who enjoy watching actual plays. Similarly, I got an email from a producer of Tales from Wood Creek, the D&D meets escape room show on the Dungeon Dudes YouTube channel. He said he would mail me some kind of promotional goodies leading up to season 2, but that was a few weeks ago. And what do you know, day of recording, I did get this letter. It looks like someone actually burned these edges by hand. The Kickstarter for Tales of Wood Creek Season 2 launches on August 11th. But this is what I want to see, a wax sealed letter. Didn't break the seal anyway. Most definitely in code, there's a mix of mostly lowercase, but some capitalized letters in here. But I guess let me know if you'd like to see, I don't know, a YouTube short where I dig into that. And same week, I was told I'd get a review copy of an officially licensed D&D encyclopedia. No sign of that yet either, but I don't know when these things come out. And same situation for another publisher for an officially licensed D&D artist's journal. But then, after my Backrooms D&D video, I got 2 emails about that. One from the creator of an IKEA-inspired scenario compatible with Cairn but designed for the Liminal Horror RPG, and another one from the creators of the Liminal Horror RPG. I just received all this stuff from them. It looks super cool. I can't wait to start flipping through it. I'm gonna get there very, very soon. I also got this pile of cool stuff from the Merry Mushman, of which I have only scratched the surface, but dear Lord, I think this book could steal my job if more people knew about it. It is loaded with thought-provoking essays on game design and GMing, so I highly expect to be citing this book in future videos. And one more last-minute plug for the creators of Sickest Witch RPG. I started keeping track of these emails in April, but they gave me this at a convention in January, so fell under the radar, but I wanted to let you know that they are nominated for a few Ennies. You can see which ones on screen, and I know the competition is going to be steep this year, so if you already heard of this game and you like it, do give them a vote. Or like everything else on this list, if it's new to you but you like the sound of some dark folk horror, consider checking it out. Now look here, this military RPG seemed interesting. The quick start is labeled human created without AI, but when I got to this image, it could just be a photo with a weird painting texture. Why does this Humvee have very different sized clips on the hood? What about these asymmetrical bolts? What about these 3 guys, like extremely similar facial features? Come on. Are these patches a real thing? I don't know. It really bothers me that even when something's labeled not AI, I run into this sometimes. I wish I didn't have to do that, but here's why I do it. Another email. Bob, about 6 months ago, I reached out with a game that I'd put together called Trailblazer. At the time, you declined to look at it because I had used AI for some of the images. Since then, I've taught myself to draw, and I've replaced all of the art with drawings I've done myself. While drawing the art was a lot of work, I'm very happy with the result, and it was definitely worthwhile. I confess I was skeptical at the time, but now I think you're right. I'd like to thank you for your advice. Holy heck, dude. There is hope. That is extremely commendable. Indie RPG designer Paul Merricks put in the freaking work to create his own art for Trailblazer RPG. And finally, a sneak peek of next week's video. Our pals at Tomb Guardians are creating this really cool Halloween countdown calendar full of hand-sculpted miniatures. I'm excited to crack it open and try some painting because these adventurers from Tomb Guardians are my favorite minis, so these monsters probably look even cooler. But thank you for watching, and huge thanks as always to my patrons and YouTube members, without whom this channel wouldn't garner the attention to just get free cool things. Thank you so much. Keep building.